Thank you very much, everyone, for joining our webinar. We are really happy that there are interested partners who would like to learn more about Dynamics products. And today we would like to talk about new product in Microsoft product ecosystem. This is Digital Contact Center platform. And we would like to share with you some insights, some demo, how this tool working, what benefits it could bring to business and to you partners, providing for your end customer solutions, which are really vital in customer service. Today we have two persons joining this meeting. So it's me, Raimondas Maciulevičius. I am business line manager for Dynamics 365 apps and Power Platform. So we are working at Companion with Power Platform on Dynamics 365's products. And also today, our meeting joined also one expert from our team, Milan. So Milan.
Hello to everyone. My name is Milan, and I will be giving you today introduction to DCCP. So I hope that you will find useful information. And I'm working as technical consultant and companion.
Thank you very much, Milan. And maybe at the very beginning, I would like to share with you some information about Companion. What is Companion? Companion is really ambassador of Dynamics partners community. So we see like this, our company, all our effort is dedicated for our partners. Our partners community contains more than 1,000 Dynamics partners, and our 250 employees, which are working in really different countries, they are really happy to work together with partners and to find possibilities and solutions with Microsoft products to bring value both for the partner and for the end customer of the partner. So we are not working directly with end customers, we are working just with the partner, we are support from the partner. And from this business model, I think we can be very beneficial partner for our partners. We are focusing in several areas. Main our areas is ERP systems, is Business Central, Finance Supply Chain Management. We are strong in cloud services, and definitely, of course, we are focusing also towards Dynamics 365 apps and Power Platform products. So why do you think we could bring value for our partners? We believe that all of us see the big pace, fast moving of all world around us. So this space is a really big one, and everyday life is really changing very fast. And in order to adapt to this changing world, all other business entities should do the same. And Microsoft also investing a lot into changes and developing new products. We know that each product has a lot of possibilities, and in order to provide the best value for your end customer, you need to be specialized in some specific product. So from one point of view, our partners and you has possibilities to use different palette of Microsoft products. From other point of view, you should be very focused into specific area to be really good professionals. So here we see that Companion could be very beneficial solution for you, and we could, with our Dynamics Power Platform ERP knowledge, we can join your effort and save your time, increase your margins. You can join together with us into new projects, and we can together deliver really good value for your customers by bringing all new features which are provided in rapid pace by Microsoft towards your end customers. Today, as I mentioned, we will talk about Digital Contact Center platform. This is solution developed by Microsoft to cover customer service area. And till passing my word to Milan, I would like to ask you one question. Do you use any kind of Microsoft Dynamic app for customer inquiries handling? Do you see this area as important to analyze, to provide the best service in different channels to your customers? So when you will answer the questions, so I think that Milan could proceed further on, and I would like to pass the word to Milan to share all his knowledge and demo on digital contact center platform.
Thank you, Raimondas. I will take over the presentation, so we can start. Just one small reminder, during today's presentation, if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat, and in the end, we will have Q&A session, so we can actually cover that area. So we will today give you some, let's say, introduction to digital contact center platform. We will discuss about key capabilities, and we will have a live demo. So the idea is that we actually try to more show you, so you can actually see through the demo some of the most interesting features of this platform. Just one slide as a reminder that today customers are actually expecting exceptional service. 58% of customers will actually terminate their relationship with a business if they have poor customer service. And 87% of the customers find it frustrating to repeat themselves in multiple channels. So this is one slide that actually is helping us to understand what benefits we would have as a company if we implement digital contact center platform. So we can say that we can increase agent efficiency with AI recommended knowledge articles. We can power our agent that they have holistic view of the customer data. So basically, all the previous conversation with the customers is present. You have transcripts of all previous communications, and you have also the ability to work in multi-session user interface. That means that your agent can actually switch between multiple sessions, and they can dedicate their time and focus to only one customer at the same time. This is one, let's say, interesting diagram that shows what we have until recently and what we have now. In the classic paradigm, we had many different components. Like you can see, we had telecom providers, telephony carriers, we have chat solution, reporting tools, we have contact centers as a service, we have a virtual assistant or chatbots, and in the, let's say, in the middle, we have CRM app. And not many companies were able to actually cover a couple of more components. So every company is actually providing only one of these components. But Microsoft now is capable of providing actually all these components that we can see on one screen. With integration of first-party voice now, along with Azure technology and the whole business application suite, Microsoft is able to cover everything that you see on the right side of the screen. So the 5 primary components of the Microsoft Digital Contact Center platforms are Dynamics 365, Teams, Power Platform, Azure, and Nuance. For those of you who maybe haven't heard that Microsoft has acquired a company called Nuance, and what Nuance brings is actually the mature and well-respected IVR routing and biometric authentication capability. So Nuance can completely solve customer requests through natural language interaction, authentication, and fraud protection. This will be even better integrated in the upcoming months, and it will become part of the core platform. Then the Azure provides the cloud infrastructure that makes everything else possible. Also, we need to mention here that for voice telephony, you need Azure Communication Service resource. So it's possible either to use Microsoft as your telephony provider, so you can provision numbers directly from Microsoft, or there is also a routing capability, so you can bring your own numbers and still get all the benefits by using this solution, by using service called Azure Direct Routing. Power Platform, on the other hand, provides the intelligent virtual agents that can be used for creating chatbots. With low-code to no-code tools, you can actually automate your routine conversations by creating powerful conversational chatbots. And yes, just one slide that will actually illustrate what we have in the platform. So as you can see on the left side, we have different channels that customer can use in order to reach us. So all these channels are supported. And on this slide, you will see a lot of, let's say, interesting things, but maybe just to briefly mention what we think that is, let's say, interesting for you. If you need help from the experts in your organizations, you can raise a swarm request. So that's some of the, let's say, latest features that we have in Digital Contact Center platform. So that means that you will be connected with the experts that are related to the specific skills based on their proficiency. Also, we want to mention that Copilot is embedded directly in the customer service workspace. That's something that is currently available only to a limited number of the partners worldwide. So we won't be able to show you that, but there are already videos about that on official YouTube channel from Microsoft Dynamics 365. And Copilot can intelligently analyze the internal and external data sets, and it can provide the answer, which can be modified before sending. So without the Copilot, agent would then need to actually spend some time to go through all the documents, and he would need to extract all the relevant information before sending the response to the customer. So we can say that that will be very soon available as a feature inside this platform. And we will all be having a lot of benefits from using it. Yes, like we said, we don't want to go too much in the theory side. We will try to actually show you by navigating through solutions to actually point it out about all the features that we have. I will now share my screen so we can then go to the next part. I hope that you can see my screen now. So here we have app selector. If you have worked with model-driven apps, then you know that. So omnichannel is, let's say, one of the segments of the Digital Contact Center platform. And it comes as an extension to existing customer service app. If you are using customer service app, then you have this customer service admin center, and we have customer service workspace. So this is actually, in this model-driven application, we can configure everything that we need regarding Digital Contact Center platform. As you can see, this is starting page, and on the right, you have options that you can actually set up a quick demo. So the path is that you actually first configure the user, then you configure all the rest. And what also important note to you is that you don't need to provision all the channels. So you only provision the channels that you really want to use. Now I will quickly guide you, for example, how my current user in this demo is configured. I will navigate to the user management, then we will open the users, and we will see that I have my own user configured already. I will search it and we'll find that record. And yes, this is one profile, but what is interesting here is this tab. So this is the omni-channel tab where we can configure all those important aspects. So you see here, by default, capacity is 100. That means that you can actually set different capacity to your agent based on their proficiency. So that means if you have, let's say, more proficient persons, they can maybe even have even higher capacity. That means how much of incoming requests they can handle at the same time. On the right side, you can see that there are different queues in which I'm associated. So you see there are a couple of those queues. And here we can see that there is already created one bookable resource for my user. So that's important that in order to configure your own agent, so you need to create this bookable resource. And here, what is important to note maybe that in these characteristics that we can see here, we can see that I currently have assigned these 4 characteristics. Why this is important? This is important because later, when you, for example, have incoming request, and then you need to decide, okay, to whom I should actually assign those requests, either a voice call, either chat request, any kind of request. And based on these skills, you can match the right agent. So for example, here I enter these 3 apps, these actually 4 apps, these 3 as excellence and 1 as a fair knowledge. So you can enter as much of information that you want. I have also the sales on the other tab. So the first step is you configure the users. I have assigned 2 roles to this user. I have both agent role and supervisor role. So this is only for the purpose of the demo, but in real life scenarios, you won't have 2 roles. You will have only either as an agent or as a supervisor. But just for, let's say, for convenience purpose, we have those both roles assigned. Then what we need to check are the channels. So you see, we have this as main channel. That means voice channel, messaging channel, and chat channels. The record channels are actually all the other records, like emails, cases, and all the others. Then we can go to the queues. You will see that we have 2 options. We have basic queues and advanced queues. Basic queues are actually used for the other application, but in this scenario, we need to configure advanced queues. And if we open the, let's say, the configurations, there is one that, yes, this one we configured for this demo. You will see that currently my user is assigned as an agent who works in this queue. What you have here for, let's say, additional configuration, you can define the assignment method. There are 2 default assignment methods, but you can create your own custom one. So this requires, let's say, more time to explain. So we won't go into more specific. Let's say that if your company have, let's say, some different procedure when it comes to handling incoming request, it can be also supported based on some configuration. We can set operation hours for our queues. So if we can set it here, and we can define condition, what should happen if, for example, nobody is available at this current moment. So you know that in that situation, should there be maybe some redirecting to some other queue or something else to happen in this case. Then the next important configuration point are the work streams. And we will open now chat work stream. Why this is important? Because work stream is a container for all, let's say, configurations that are regarding the routing, the actually accepting and routing the incoming request. As you can see here, this is actually the channel is chat and the type is messaging, because the chat is just one, let's say, a subtype of the messaging work streams. You can see here that there are some, let's say, already defined values. I can maybe illustrate you here. It will be maybe easier to understand if I initiate creation of a new new, let's say, new work stream, you can see that I can choose the type. If I choose, let's say, messaging, it will give me multiple channels. So these are all possible channels that we can configure. So we can use Facebook, SMS, WhatsApp. You can see chat, and you then define this distribution mode. So you can say, okay, I'm going to push these items to the agents, or I will allow them option to pick. So that means that they can go through the list of the items and they can pick the one that they can start working on. We will now come back to that configuration page where we were just seconds ago. And I will show you here what we have as additional configuration. So you see here, if I go here and open edit, I will see that for this channel, this is chat channel, I have a couple of pages with just configuration settings. And this is something that is actually really, really powerful. So as you can see here, we already selected that the English is the language of this channel. This is already, you see, mentioned that we define this as a type. On chat widget, we can define how our chat widget will look on the different location, different websites where we are going to use it. So for example, you can define the theme color. You can use, do you want to use your full name of the agent or maybe just first name? You can define the position. I can just quickly show you how it looks like. So this is actually what we configure. So with just a couple of clicks, you can actually customize it. And you see, when we configure all those components, we have on the right this widget code. And the only thing that is needed in order to connect this chat widget with some website is to copy. We just need to copy it. And for example, in this page, I have one portal, one Power Page opened and configured. And you see, this is what I configured. I only opened this content snippet in the configuration. So you have these content snippets. And I just created one for my website. So I enter my website name. And here I just paste that HTML. So that's the only thing that I needed to do in order to configure this to be available on one Power Page. You can say, do you want a proactive chat? That means, for example, if somebody is looking at your website, do you want maybe to first send him some message? So that's also interesting. You can define that the widget should be shown only during your working hours. So you can also define that it doesn't show if your company doesn't work anymore. On the behaviors page, what we have as additional configurations, so we can have custom automated messages. So for example, you can say, if the agent has been assigned to conversation, what should be sent? So you have different events that you can actually use to send some automatic message. Then, if we navigate to the next point, we have a pre-conversation survey. In this example, in our demo, we were trying to put ourselves in the shoes of what agent who is supporting different model-driven apps. So imagine that I'm, let's say, taking incoming request, and I'm trying to help my customers to solve their issue with, let's say, either some feature or there's some bugs. And as you can see here, we have configured a couple of these survey. These are pre-conversation surveys. So that means before the customer starts to chat with our agent, he needs to give the answer to these questions. And as you can see here, we just enter here, okay, which application were you using when the issue occurred? Then the second question is select the problem type. And then we have here problem subtype. So what does this mean? So this means that actually only by using these questions, you can then have the data which you can use for routing the incoming request to the appropriate agent. So you don't even need to go to create Power Virtual chatbots. Even they're, let's say, not so difficult to create, but this can be also used for that purpose. And let me go to the next page so I can show you what we have as additional configuration options for the chat channel. So we can say, do we want to allow the file attachments? Which side should be able to use that feature? Do we want to have notification for the customers to show the number of new messages to play sound when some new messages arrived? Do we want to have the transcripts of the conversations if we want to maybe allow the customers to download that transcript? And then we can also have here the voice and video call. So you can say, okay, I'm allowing only voice or maybe both video and voice calling. So this is only for the chat. For the voice channel, it's similar, just it has something that is specific to that communication channel. Now I will come back to the presentation again, just to briefly show you a couple of more interesting slide that I think that is worth mentioning now at this point when you're talking on this platform. Yes, let me just open it where we left. So yes, we are now on this slide. On this page, you can see the unified routing schema. So basically, using AI rules, unified routing can identify the most qualified agent based on the skill set, based on the capacity workload and effort estimation. As you can see on this page, the unified routing has two stages. The first is automated classification, and then we have the second intelligent assignment. It can smartly understand the context of the situation by using live transcription. Also, the customer sentiment is taken into consideration, and it can match then that request with the some agent who is the best match for that request. This is, I would say, a more complicated concept. This is something that in order to configure, it requires more time, more dedication. The first part only to configure that channels and workstream doesn't require that much, but to really know how to configure this, it requires some, let's say, deeper investigation and more knowledge. Here is one illustration how this routing actually works. So imagine that we have one customer on the left, and he's approaching to us. He's trying to contact us through chat, and you can see that it is a high priority chat, and the method is push, and we have here the required capacity. So as you can see here, we have two queues, and based on that item, we need to know, okay, what is the right queue. Then if we need to see, okay, how many agents we have in that queue, and we need to, okay, check what was the desired capacity. And as you can see here, only this is available at this moment with that capacity. So only the BART can take this request now. And on this slide, we have also illustration that actually whenever your agent is accepting one of the incoming requests, his presence will be also configured. So that means that that's done automatically. Yes, and now we will switch to second part of the demo session. In this session, we will show you the agent experience. So how the actually agent see all those options that he has, and also the supervisor experience. I will share my screen just again. So I will just close this because we already covered that. And how I will open, I can, for example, I can just duplicate my tab, and I will open that app in different tab of my web browser. So I have here customer service workspace. Yes, you see that when it starts to load, it will take some time You see it's getting some components that are running in the background just to get everything to be prepared for the session. And you see I'm logged in as my own agent, and I can see here that I can configure my presence manually. So I can change it. I can set, okay, now I'm on the break and I will be busy or do not disturb. So the agent can do that by themselves. So this is you see, I have here some of the active cases. I have some of the tasks and activity that were, let's say, currently open. And if I now navigate to this chat widget, so you see this is one custom Power Page that is configured only for the demo purpose. I can initiate a new chat session. As you can see here, those pre-survey questions are here. So we can ask the customer, please first select to which application you are referring. Then please select, okay, what is the issue? And then please select what is the actually problem subtype. So for example, we can say the first one. Now you see we get the message that the agent will be there in a moment. And this is how it looks like from the customer side. Now I will just send one message to the agent. We'll now go back to the customer service application, and you see I have incoming request from John Smith. So the customer has been authenticated. You see that there is a countdown that we define, okay, for the, say, taking this request, how much time you have. So even if I reject this, for example, I will get this request again because I'm the only one who is currently working in this queue and I'm available. So let's accept this. Let's accept this so we can actually take a look what will happen here. As you can see here, now it's loading, the interface is loading. So what we can see here on the left side, we have this conversation panel. So this is the same for all the channels. Just in some cases, for example, if you're using voice, you will have the transcriptions of that conversation. In this case, we have option to actually write directly in the chat. As additional options, what we can do here, so you can define, let's say, some predefined messages that you just pick and send to the customer. You can consult with your agents. So you can actually just ask some additional questions that the customer doesn't need to know that you're actually chatting with your colleagues. You can transfer this request to some other queue. And you have option to add a note or to link this conversation to a case. You see here on the top, we have sentiment. So current is neutral. So that means that the AI will take into account the latest 6 messages from the customer and will give you what is that current sentiment. I have prepared here one script that we're going to use. Just copy and paste the scenario. But before going to that, what is also important to emphasize here is that you see we have here some details about this customer. So you see we have his email. So since he already gave us some answers before reaching the agent, we can see those answers here. We can see that he came from the live chat, what is the waiting time, from which queue. And you see here, this is actually something that Dynamics application have. So you have option to see the recent cases for this customer. And also you will be able to see on the timeline all the previous activities with this customer. I will now just show you that my scenario. So first agent is trying to actually understand better what is happening. I will paste this answer now here in the chat, and you will see that immediately the customer is getting that message. I will then copy the next answer. So you see now the customer is trying to explain in more detail what is actually his issue. So he will give us the next say message, and You will notice now, if you see here that the customer used the expression very frustrating. Because of that, we can see that the sentiment has changed to slightly negative. That's something that we mentioned, so it's taking into account what we are talking, and it can change based on that. Now, I will use this answer. So we give the exact answer to the solution to this customer. I will just paste it, and we mentioned that we can use also the images. So because of that, I will just paste some image and send it to the customer. And you see now the customer can also he can download that image and can see about what we are talking about. And let's say that in the end, we have this as final, let's say, comment from the customer, so he can confirm that everything went smoothly and that he is able to solve it. If we come back now we will see that it's changed. So now it's slightly positive. So it's changing based on every message it's changed. This is one scenario. So this can be also automated with chatbot. So you can structure it in the same way how we structure this. It's not, let's say, a lot of complication to do that. You can do that very quickly. And then you will see that when let's say the customer is not able to find the right answer to his request, he can ask, "Can I speak to the agent?" In that case, that request will be sent like we saw this one. So it will be showing us notification. The agent can accept it, and he can continue to work on that request. And he will see the complete history of everything that chatbot already discussed with that customer. What is here interesting to also have in mind, that we have option to build the agent scripts. In this case, we have just a reminder. So let's say first you need to do this step, okay, then you need to do this step. But it can be also used as kind of macros. So for example, you can either open maybe some other application. So if you're maybe having something that it's still not integrated into Dynamics, or you have some other system, you can use that and to actually allow the agents to quickly open some other applications. Or you can maybe have some workflows. So you can, for example, create a case by one click, something like that. You have unlimited options when it comes to, let's say, building those business logic that you need. Also here, I have knowledge base available. So for example, if I'm now working on this ticket, I can, for example, type and try to search for some keywords, and you see, I can see if there are some articles that talk about this, and if there are, I can open and see the details of that. Just also to mention that with Copilot, which will be soon introduced to the general public, we will have this, let's say, much better. That means that Copilot will be able to go through the existing data sources and to try to find the answer. That means that we don't need to do this like we're doing now. We don't need to manually try to find the right article and to try to navigate all the way to that specific article. So this was the scenario of one agent. Now we will quickly try to look at the scenario of the supervisor, since this is not, let's say, the right way to do it, since we are using the same user. We won't have all the features available, but this is how actually supervisor can work. So supervisor have this page where he can monitor all the ongoing conversations. So I can see, for example, that my agent, this is the name of my agent, in his work from this work stream, is currently having a live chat session with this customer. this is the name of the customer. You can see that we can also see what is the current sentiment. So it's slightly positive. What is important here to know that if you have the supervisor role, you can have multiple options in acting based on these details that you see. So you can either just monitor that call. It means that you maybe step into that call without agent actually knowing that you're there, and without customer knowing that you're there, and you can intervene. Or you can maybe see that you can transfer that incoming request to some other person, or maybe you can also try to whisper something to your agent to try to help him in a better resolution of this case. Now I will show you a couple of predefined reports that we have. Actually, these are dashboards with a lot of information. So this is something that comes, you see, with the solution. So we have option to see omni-channel historical analytics. As you can see, a lot of metrics. So we can see the number of incoming conversations, engaged, abandon rate, average speed to answer. So this is something that you don't need to configure. You just need to enable it, and it will be configured out of the box. So you see we have different ways to actually monitor, and it's important to note this is historical, but it's possible also to have near real-time monitoring. Then you see we have for each queue, for each agent, then we have for the bot. So we can, on the work stream, we can actually connect one bot and we assign that bot to that work stream. And you have also for example, for the voice channel as separately. So these are actually, you see, Power BI reports which are embedded into the solution. Also, there is another set of the reports. It's I will show you if I come back here. I can switch and I can open omni-channel insights. That's also interesting to see that actually you have it's actually, you see, it's similar to the previous that we saw, but let's say you have also a couple of predefined reports that we just pushed here. So we didn't configure anything. That's why they don't have a lot of data. That's why they don't look maybe pretty, but you see there are some already predefined things that we can use without any problems. And yes, so now I will go to the next slide, because we can say that we cover both agent scenario and both supervisor scenario. I will come back to the presentation. I will go now to presentation, and I will show you a couple of more interesting things before we go to the final part of the presentation. So yes, this is actually the high-level architecture of the whole solution. It might maybe look scary to you, but this is actually everything that we already mentioned. On the left side, you have the customers. On the right side, you have the supervisors. So from let's say that you can see from to which channels customer can actually reach you. Here, what is also important to note that SMS can be configured either through Azure Communication Services or through third-party providers. For example, it can be either Twilio or Telesign, and WhatsApp can be configured through Twilio. So as you can see here, these are all the components. So we've worked today and we explore how Dynamics 365 customer engagements apps are working and how actually the functionalities that they have in this solution. We saw that also the supervisor have different reports, and they have different options that they can actually react based on the in real-time situations. This slide is talking about the customer service add-ins. So we mentioned at the beginning, so we have customer service, and then we have omni-channel as an extension, and then on top of that, we have digital contact center platform. So these add-ins are needed for your agents in order that they can work and support your customers. These add-ins are available only with enterprise license. That means that if you're using professional, you will need to migrate first that user to enterprise, and then you will be able to give him, assign him one of these add-ins. As you can see here, they are different. So you can either if you need only chat, you can only use chat. If you want voice channel, then you only use voice channel. And if you need everything, then you use this one. So digital messaging includes chat and third-party SMS and future social messaging channels. And here on this page, we didn't show that, but it's important to know that for the voice channel, you need to have Azure Communication Service resource configured. That means that even if you are using your own telecom provider for your numbers, you still need to have that configured. Doesn't matter if you're using Microsoft as your provider or your existing provider, you will still need to configure it. Yes, and before we conclude this DCCP introduction, we thought that it's important to note that Microsoft Teams is actually capable of having some functionalities predefined. So Microsoft Teams, and as you already know, many companies are already moving to Teams for their telephony environments. So we can say that the Teams, since it already has auto attendant, call queues, and reports, it has some native call center functionalities. We mentioned here that there are some things that are missing. So what is missing? That actually they don't have supervisor options. They don't have other contact methods. So these are not supported. You have limited options when it comes to routing these incoming calls to the groups of the users. They don't have real-time monitoring. Basically, if you maybe want to continue to use Microsoft Teams as a, let's say, your starting point for your contact center, then there is a certified list of the third-party solutions that can be used as an extension. So that's one path that is also there. If you can take a look, there is a list of different solutions. Every of them is specific, and we can say that it's Microsoft will definitely also bring some new features in this Microsoft Teams native call center. So when we are talking about Microsoft Teams, we actually think about Microsoft Teams Phone. So that's actually the product that we are actually here referring most. And also as it's the same story that you can either bring your own existing phones numbers or you can buy them directly from Microsoft. So you have also those two options. And that integration with Teams Phone is becoming, let's say, better and better. And now with the latest Microsoft Teams Phone Mobile, you have really great options that you can actually use one device, and actually you will have unified call history. It doesn't matter did you talk over Teams or maybe on your classical mobile phone call from your carrier provider. So it will be smoothly. You won't notice that you're actually using different providers. Everything can be actually everything is actually device agnostic, and you won't actually have any problems with using it. Yes, and I think that we can conclude here for now this presentation, so Raimondas can take over, and later we will see about Q&A in the end.
Okay. Thank you very much, Milan. It's really a lot of different kind of information, and I'm just thinking that well, low code, which is used like a term for like Dynamics 365 apps for Power Platform, low code doesn't mean low complexity. It actually not like that. It's really in order to perform, in order to create for the customer easy the solution which would work in a quickly set up. So this is needed a lot of like a competence and knowledge about those low code elements in order to fit to each other. And why we think that we as Companion, we could support and help you in your business. So we think that there are some like several driving forces. One force is that our customers' expectation, your customers' expectations are really changing. I mentioned about this rapid changing world. I think that customers also somehow get used that they would like to get everything quickly. They would like to get really high configurable solutions, which a lot of different features, which could be easily changed based on the need. They would like to have like a well-supported solutions working with their business, not to have some disturbancy. And this means that it is really difficult to cope with this like a really very fastly evolving customer expectations. But from other point of view, as any kind of situation, it means like either you can take it as challenge, either as opportunity. So I think from other point of view, working together, Companion with you, partner, we can really have a lot of win-win situation. So first thing for you as a partner, we can see that you, by combining our effort, our knowledge, our understanding of this low code, high complexity things together with you, with your team, so we can win or secure your existing customers. So we can provide new workloads quickly for your customers without like letting some other competitors to your customer services. We can increase license sales revenues, and also we can provide even solution support for your customers as we have managed services. So we can, if you have lacking competence, you lacking some resources for supporting delivered solution for your customers. So then we can make this support happen as we have specific service area for this in our portfolio. So how we can support you? So different areas. So we can provide implementation support and working together with you. We can provide technical consultations for some specific smaller maybe items. We can have some complex development things done for you, and also as I mentioned, we can provide some experienced support for your customers to whom you are delivering some complex projects involving Dynamics 365 apps, either Power Platform solutions. So please let us know. Would you like to find out more about Microsoft Dynamics apps capabilities? So if yes, so then please answer in your polls section. So we are looking forward to hear from you about this need. And also, we would like to take a look into questions in the chat. Do we have any questions here? So, unfortunately, I do not see.
Yes, I see that somebody is typing, so we can wait.
Okay.
Maybe I can just also add to this presentation a couple of things that I can also mention to you. Thank you. It's important to note that with chats, we have two different types of the chats. The first is default one is the live chat. And that means that it's actually the idea that you actually respond to the agent immediately. And the other type of the chat that we have is persistent chat. Persistent chat can be configured in situations when you want to allow asynchronous communication with the customers. So that means that the customer can actually continue conversation at their convenient time. And all the previous conversation will be saved. So that's something that's really nice. It's going to be improved maybe even more in the upcoming period. So you just need to configure that work stream to be for that particular type of chat. Also, I didn't show that in the demo, but also it's important to note that since you have those transcripts, so you have also the real-time transcriptions, translation and the transcripts, they are saved. They are saved in the Dynamics 365 in encoded format, and you will always find them as records on your customer profile. And it's also possible to search them. So in case that you have, let's say, a lot of chats, you can open that discussion and you can search for that keyword that you're searching for. So that's also important to note in this part.